Well, hey everybody, welcome to this FastTrack webinar. We're here, my name is Eric Kuna, I'm one of the instructors here at KelbyOne, and I'm joined by your instructor for this webinar, Scott Kelby. So Scott, what do you have for us today? Obviously we're going to learn about this FastTrack, but before we get there, we got some really cool stuff that
I've got fun stuff, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some stuff that is frustrating a lot of people. So, and I think one of the reasons why a lot of photographers are frustrated is because there are things that they should know that people don't want to tell you. So this is called the stuff they don't tell you. And what we're really going to do is we're going to go through 5 things. So there's 5 secrets that are kind of holding you back. And this is the kind of stuff that you would normally talk about, you know, with a friend or something, but you don't see a lot of this stuff talked about publicly because it's you know, it's sticky to talk about some of this stuff. So we're going to do it anyway. And hopefully help a lot of photographers. One of the things that I hear from photographers is that they don't feel like they're really making progress in their work, right? Like they're getting a little better. A buddy of mine's talking to me about how, like, I asked him, you know, well, do you feel like you got any better in the last year? And he's like, no. I'm like, oh, come on, you didn't get any better? And he goes, well, okay, maybe I got 3%, 5% better. Maybe I got a little better over the last year. And he said, but at this rate, it's going to take me like 10 years to get good, right? It's just going to be and a lot of photographers are just making very, very, very slow progress. And we're going to talk about all that and a way to get around that a little bit later. But for those of you who are joining us, I know that some of you are joining us for the first time who aren't familiar with who we are. So give me 30 seconds just to tell you about us. We are KelbyOne. We were formed back in, I guess technically 1993, but I guess more officially in 1999. We've been here 20-something years, I guess is the long and short of it. We've been around forever, and we were one of the pioneers in photography online training. We have, at this point, nearly 1,000 full-length courses. I think one of the things that sets us apart, like as a company, is that a lot of what we do is on location, where you're right there, you're standing right beside the instructor, you're seeing how it's done. So it's not so much a bunch of talking head stuff, it is more of out in the field. Yeah. So you're learning in context, you're right there with the instructor, right? So, and we have over 100 instructors that train with KelbyOne. So we've got some of the very best in the business. So like if we're teaching you landscape photography, we're out in Canada.
In Canada,
up
right
in
there.
Canada.
Or we're shooting portraits, right on location there.
Right, and if we're going to talk and teach you how to do safari, we're in Africa. You're right there beside the instructor, seeing how it's all done, hearing how it's all done. It's like you're right there. And if we're teaching you like aviation photography, we're flying like a squadron of warbirds off the coast with the instructor in one plane, with a camera crew, another chase plane with another set of our camera crew. You're learning at a level that you won't learn anywhere else, and that's kind of our thing. So we've got a tremendous amount of courses, amazing instructors, and that's who we are.
And that's really about KelbyOne. Like we were talking about in the beginning, we are all about like teaching you like we'd want to be taught as a friend, a colleague. Yep. And before we move on though, in case you don't know about Scott Kelby as well, obviously it's called KelbyOne, but Scott Kelby, this guy.
Don't look at me. Look at one up on him. I hate this.
This guy has written the most popular book in digital photography ever, right? 1 million copies plus of this book, as well as starting this company, as well as doing things like Photoshop World, the Photoshop Hall of Fame. We even do a worldwide photo walk around the world. So there's all these things that we do out of this company to really give back to photographers. This has all been about like our investment in this company. Millions of dollars we've invested is to help you as a photographer go to that next level. So speaking of that, let's talk about those 5 things that'll take us to that next level.
Thank you for saying that, all those very kind words, just like I wrote it. Okay, no, I'm kidding. All right, so let's talk about these 5 things, right? I do, I hate it like you can't believe. Now, I want to give you a heads up about these secrets. Some of these are controversial. This is why you don't hear about them all the time, right? Because it makes people cringe, some of this stuff, right? But so we're going to talk about that stuff, and one of them is this gear speed bump that we all hit. Like you get into this and you get your camera and you get your lenses and all, and you get stuck there. It slows your progress. You think it would speed things up, but it has the opposite effect. We get stuck at gear and settings, and I know that's a weird place to get stuck, but it's honest to goodness truth. Part of it is if you go online and you start to research this stuff, they've made photography seem way, way, way harder than it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is a lot of what we do, is trying to show people that this is not hard. I know you think it's hard, but it's really, really not. So we do a lot of that is demystifying it, right? But here's the thing. Today's cameras, they make it so easy. Like, photography has never been easier because of today's cameras. I mean, think about it this way. We're all worried about the settings, and we're worried about the gear, and we're all involved in this stuff, right? But then we pick up our phone, and we can take a great picture with our phone. We can take a tremendous picture.
In fact, that's a picture from an old iPhone, I think an 11, right?
Yeah, that's an old iPhone, right?
Yeah.
And it can still take a great picture. And you know you can take great pictures with your phone. I don't have to go into all that whole thing. But here's the thing. What settings did I use to get that? Who knows? You don't even know the settings. You're not adding accessories. You're not putting on extra lenses. You just point at the scene. And so you're completely wrapped up in the creativity. That's the advantage of your phone, right? Because it's the one time you're not worried about your settings or your gear. You're just into the photography. That's what the phone companies have done with their cameras. I will say this. It's not just Apple. It's Apple and Samsung and everybody. They have simplified. They've nailed the simple part. They've nailed it, and it makes it so easy. Now
it's what photography probably should be. Right?
Yes, and what happened? This all started a long time ago, where things got easier. The thing that was the biggest game changer, of course, was digital photography. Like, now you take a picture and you look on the back of your camera, and you can immediately see, is it in focus? Are her eyes sharp? Is the lighting okay? Did everything look good? When I started photography, this is what it looked like. You looked at the back of your camera, and what you saw was the back of your camera. You saw a door that opened so you could put film in it. That was it. So things have gotten a lot better for us.
Then the worst, Scott, was when you didn't line up the film right, and then you got your things back.
You get your film back, and there'd be half of one picture and half of another in the same frame. You'd look at it and go, "Oh, I didn't." Okay. Anyway,
now it's like instantaneous. We just see it.
Thankfully, those days are behind us. But still, even though that's behind us, the people that make our phones and stuff, they've made, it's not just the technology easier, but they've made learning easier. For example, on your phone, like if you have an iPhone and you want to focus, right? You just, tap where you want it to focus. You've got that, right?
Yep,
now, what if you want to make it darker? You just slide your finger down the screen and it gets darker, or you slide your finger up on the screen and it gets brighter. All right, it looks like this when you do it, right? Yeah, you're out, and then you just slide it up or you slide it down, right? Okay, what do they call this? What do the camera companies, what's the name the camera companies call this technology? They don't. They just go, you want to make it brighter? Drag up. You want to make it darker? Yeah. But when we come to photography, now it's called exposure compensation. And now we've got all these terms and all these phrases that people feel like they have to learn and all. You're taking great shots with your phone, and you're not doing any of this stuff, and you don't even need to know this stuff. In fact, I think sometimes this stuff is part of the speed bump that holds us back.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
And I'll give you an example. For example, right? Listen, we're going to use a car as an example, okay? And I had to look this up on Google, so forgive me, so your car, apparently, your engine has a head gasket. I don't know anything about engines. I had to Google this to find out it's
a very important part. Yeah.
Apparently, because I said, what's a weird important part of your engine? And they said it was the head gasket, right? I apparently have one in my car. I have no idea what it looks like. If you handed me $1,000 and said, Scott, you can keep this $1,000 if you could point to the head gasket, I'm like, I don't know. Is it in here? I don't know. I have no idea. However, the fact that I don't know how all the technology works does not stop me from getting in my car and driving to important, critical things in my life. So that's the thing. And I think this is exactly what happens to photographers. We get all embroiled in the settings and the gear and all that stuff. So we just want to get from where we're standing to great shots. That's what we want. But we have all this stuff standing in the way. And that's because we spend way too much time on gear and stuff, and we spend way too little time on the thing that would actually make a overnight huge difference in your photography, and that is learning how to compose.
Yes, absolutely.
Learning how to compose.
Absolutely.
Right,
That's a big one.
And there are rules of that stuff, and I'll talk about this later. There are rules to composition, but it's just a set of rules. You can read them in 5 minutes and go, okay, you can write them down and put them on your phone, and then you've got them. And it's not all of a sudden like everything's going to be great, because there's more to it, and they haven't told you about this. I'm going to.
Yeah, this is the secret to photography.
They have
like
not
not
told
the
you about
setting,
it.
not the not the
It's
lens,
not that stuff.
not that stuff.
All right, so I'll give you an example. Let's look at a composition example, okay? So you've heard of course, the Eiffel Tower, right? Built in Paris, and it was built for, I want to say it was the 1910 or the 1912 World's Fair. So it's amazing they built a structure that huge and that still stands today, and it's still beautiful and all. In fact, it's considered one of the most beautiful man-made structures in the world. Now, when it was built for the 1910 World's Fair, the Parisians hated it. They hated it. Do you know why? Because the French hate everything. Anyway.
No, they don't.
Just kidding. Just a joke. Anyway, so you're standing in front of this amazing, beautiful architectural marvel, considered one of the 7 architectural wonders of the world, and you can still take a really crappy shot of it. And this is one that I took, and it's really crappy. It's stupid and bad in every way.
Look at that lean, too.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a French word for it there. There it is. It's just trash. Basically, it's an awful, terrible, I think that's the word for terrible or something. It's a very bad picture, right? Now, so, then this is to just give you the idea of how important composition is. So, if you're standing in front of something fabulous and you don't compose it well, it can look terrible. But if you were good at composition, you could probably go down to the docks, see a guy pulling a rope, compose the photo, and make a great image. Like one of the greatest living photographers in America, Jay Maisel, did. We have this print here in the office, and this is, look, it's a worker at the docks pulling a rope. But man, it is as awesome. This is I've seen this in Jay's books. Of course, we have a copy here in our offices. And Jay's one of the best known and most popular photographers of our day. Jay's one of those guys that'll be studying his life for years.
He's a master of composition.
He's a master of composition. And that just shows it. It's like, why didn't he show the guy's head? Why is there movement? Why is there this? Why do the colors work so well? Because he's really, really good at composition. You can shoot everyday things and make them look amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I love about Jay Maisel. If you really we have tons of classes with him on KelbyOne, and one of the things that I think is amazing is that he is not obsessed with the gear at all. He uses like one lens and one camera body, and that is it.
It is it.
It's like simple as it can come.
Now, the great thing is he's totally immersed in the things that matter.
Yes,
he's not worried about his gear. He's not worried about the settings. And so what I want to kind of maybe open your eyes to, and this is something that you won't hear a lot about, is this. Photography comes down to 2 main things, and neither one of them is gear or settings. Number one, and this is going to sound weird when I first say it, but I'm telling you, it's the real deal. A lot of it comes down to what you're standing in front of, right? If you're standing in front of this is a shot from my dear friend and KelbyOne instructor and colleague Karen Hutton. I asked Karen, I love this photo of hers, I asked her if I could borrow it.
Beautiful.
This is an incredible shot. I think it's down in Patagonia, right? So if that's what you're standing in front of, how hard is it to make a good picture? If you have reasonable composition, just a reasonable idea how it works, you're set. But what if you're standing in front of this? You better be a master of composition. I don't think anybody can save this one. What if this is what you're standing in front of? Or this is what you're standing in front of? Or you're shooting a wedding and this is the church you're shooting in front of. It's not beautiful, it's just okay. You're not going to wind up getting a shot like this when you're standing in front of that other church, right? So that's the thing. So first off is what you're standing in front of. What are you standing in front of? And the second part, remember I said there's 2 parts, is then how you frame the shot, how you compose the shot, what you choose to put in, what you choose to put out, the angle and height and everything that you hold the camera at, what angle you shoot it at, everything. It's your composition. So when you take those 2 things together, that's where you get magic. When you're standing in front of something amazing and then you compose it really well, that's when all of a sudden you're starting to take images that are blowing your own mind, right? And that's the whole goal of this, right? Is you want to take pictures that you're proud that you took, right? You're proud to share, you're proud to show other people, right? So I want to tell you the truth about the quality of subject, because this is so important, and this is going to be an eye-opening thing for a lot of people, and this is one I'm telling you, you're not going to hear anybody talking about.
This is the secret.
I think I'm the only one talking about this because I'm the only one brave enough to go down this very slippery slope. But I'm telling you, when the light bulb comes on and you realize how important this is, you're going to be like, oh, I never really considered that. All right, let's go down this path together. You ready? Here we go. So let's look at this picture, okay? So what do you have here is white background, lit by, obviously, a studio strobe, right? Looks like it's been lit by the studio. And you have a cheeseburger, and the elements are, it's a meat patty, cheese, lettuce, tomato, sesame seed bun, right? Pretty simple, standard burger, right?
Yep.
Well, so is this. That's cheeseburger, meat patty, cheese, lettuce, tomato, sesame seed bun, all that stuff. Same stuff, literally, same stuff.
Yep.
All right, let's put them side by side, okay? All right? Now, you're going to have to wind up hiring one of these photographers. And I want you to be honest. Don't try to fool the judges. Just be honest with yourself. If these are the two hamburgers you looked at, which one would you hire? All right, let's go back to the gear.
Okay.
So what setting could you use? Like, for example, what f-stop would make the burger in A
Touche.
look like the burger B? What f-stop? Okay, that's a trick question.
Yeah.
It's not the f-stop.
Got me.
What ISO could you use? All right, no? No, all right,
no.
What shutter speed would make the burger on the left look like the burger on the right? So if you were asked which one would people think is the better photographer, it's the one standing in front of the better burger, right? Which one would you hire? Everybody would hire the one.
And I think that is the big point here, right?
That is it.
When that light bulb goes off, your photography changes. And that's the secret.
And you realize that how good of a picture are you going to get when this is what you're standing in front of?
Yeah, that's what you get.
But if this is what you're standing in front of, you don't have to be a phenomenal photographer, because today's cameras are so good, right? Today's cameras are so great. Now, the composition comes in here where you put the sun in just the right place. You backlit it. I mean, you did the compositional things that make it great. But if you're standing on the thing on the left, you're never going to make the photo on the right. It's just not going to happen. So let's flip this and go to people, right? So we looked at landscapes.
Yeah.
Let's look at people. And so I did a little test just to kind of prove this point.
Okay.
And this is years ago. I took this shot. We're out at this harbor, and this is a picture of my subject. So I told her, I said, I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to have you move out of the way, and I'm not going to change any settings. I'm not going to change my camera. I'm going to keep the camera up to my eye. All we're going to do is, instead of my subject here, my assistant's going to step into the spot, right? And we're going to take the same exact shot 10 seconds later. So we take this shot, she moves out of the way, my assistant moves in, and we take the next shot. It just doesn't look the same. And I know what you're thinking, Scott, that is not a fair comparison because she had, flowing blonde hair. Trust me, it's not the hair. Look, there's no amount of f-stop or fancy flash or studio backdrop that's going to make Melvin look like Dylan. You're standing in front of Dylan, that's the shot you're going to get, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had this talk, and I was doing this talk in front of an audience, and I brought up this this topic, and the gentleman slipped me a note on the break, and here's what he wrote. Take a look. Which, when you think about it, it's kind of mean what he's saying here.
Yeah, it is.
But it's the last line.
It is
the last line. Shooting
pretty people is easier.
No, it's not. It's the same thing. You use the same camera, the same lettings, and the same lens, and the same settings. It's just the results are different.
And yeah, you just proved it.
The results are different.
It's just the results. Yeah.
The results are different. That's it. So now I don't want you to leave this webinar and go, well, Scott said I can only shoot beautiful people. That is not the case, because you know what makes really great shots? Interesting people. Interesting people make really interesting shots.
Subjects,
interesting subjects. So you can stand in front of very interesting people and they make for interesting photos. So don't fall for that. But if you're standing in front of interesting people, it's going to make interesting photos. Hey, this is a little aside real quick here, but so just to kind of prove this point, to beat this point to death, buddy of mine used to be, and he's a KelbyOne instructor, by the way, Joe Glida used to be the lead photographer for Kraft Foods. Kraft Foods happens to make one of the greatest inventions in the history of food, and I think many of you will agree.
Mac and cheese.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. And so I got to go up and tour the Kraft headquarters when he was there.
Yeah.
And he showed me a box of macaroni and cheese because they shoot all their own photography. And he said, what do you notice about the macaroni and cheese? I said, it looks delicious. I've seen it my whole life. I want a box right now. He says, there's something you're missing. Do you notice that you don't see any of the holes in the macaroni, any of the what they call the eyes? He goes, that's because we have a food stylist that takes a pair of tweezers and literally turns each one away from the viewer. Yeah. So you know why? Because how it looks matters.
Yep, that's it.
Right? And it is more attractive if you turn all the way. It doesn't put anybody off, and they go through the extra trouble of making that look absolutely perfect. So you look at that and you're like, yeah, mac and cheese. You don't ever look at it and go, wait, where are the holes? It just looks right. So here's what happens. There is this thing that happens when you're standing in front of something great, like a box of macaroni. Well, it wouldn't be a box yet, would it?
Yeah,
a bowl.
Yeah.
Thank you. A bowl of mac and cheese. And then you compose it in a way that makes it really look attractive. You notice they didn't show the whole bowl. It was nice and tight, and the spoon's probably larger than the spoon you would use. But it just looks so appealing. It's all of it. It's great lighting, right? It's backlit and all the macaroni looks
all
great.
That stuff that goes into the great photography.
Yep, all of it.
It's
the colors,
the hour of turning the macaroni and
everything.
cheese and getting it to the right consistency.
But when these things come together, that's when the magic happens, right? When you're standing in front of something wonderful and you know how to compose it and you compose it correctly, right? So there is this emotional response that happens that is very, very powerful. And I want to give you an example. So during the year, I wind up sitting on the juries of many art competitions, so photographic competitions, right? People have sent in images to be judges, and I've done it for competitions literally all over the world. And we also run our own contests, right? We're in the Guru Awards. We've run in our international photo competition that we've done, the worldwide photo walk competitions. We do our own. Before COVID, we would do them in person. So there'd be 12. Now it's all done pretty much by email. They send you a link. Here's the finalists. Choose the best ones, whatever. All right. But back in the day, we'd all be in the room. So there might be 8, 10, 12 of us judges in a room. And the images come up on screen. Now, we never know the names. The names are hidden, so you just see the images. So you only react to what you're seeing, right? It's a picture, room full of people. We have a clicker, and you go click, and the next image comes up. Or you're on a laptop and click, whatever. And it's so interesting to be in this room. I wish everybody could be in there, because it goes like this. Click, and it's silence. Yeah. Click.
Oh, I like that.
You'll hear
like one guy.
You'll hear one guy comment, and click. And then, woman in the room might go, well, that's kind of nice. Yep. Click, click, click. And all of a sudden, the whole room in a microsecond goes, ooh. They've had no time to analyze the technical stuff. They've had no time to really look at the images. It has an emotional response. And that emotional response happens when those two things come together, composition and what you're standing in front of. And people just don't talk about this. They just don't do it. And so it's a sad, but it's a realization that when that happens to you, all of a sudden you start thinking, I need to stand in front of better things. In fact,
it's actually very freeing when you realize that.
It is.
It's very freeing when you realize that, because now I don't have to chase gear. I don't have to chase settings. I don't have to do all that.
You don't have to do all that stuff. And if you've been trying to shoot portraits and you're unhappy, like you're practicing on your cousin and you're just unhappy and you think, well, I'm just not a portrait photographer. Maybe it's that your cousin's ugly. No.
Uh-oh.
Maybe, no. Maybe
No.
it's that your cousin is not photogenic.
Yes, that's
right?
the one thing,
What
yeah.
you need are, there's people, and you know who they are, that you take a picture of
they're
with your,
just
and they
not.
always look great in every photo. Like they always look great for whatever reason. They have a facial structure that the camera loves, right? The camera loves people with angular, thin faces. Like their faces are very chiseled, you know, they're long. I mean, I don't want to, thin's not the right word, long. Like, you know,
Yeah.
all right. So it's so funny how all this works together. So that was number 2 of the 5 things, is how important that relationship is, standing in front of something great, and then you got to compose it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about the composition stuff a little bit more
Yeah,
later.
so we've gone like the gear, the composition. Now we're on to another secret, big one.
The post-processing. All right. In this day and age, you've got to get good at post-processing. Now, I use Lightroom most of the time. Lightroom is where I do my meat and potatoes. Lightroom is where I do, you know, all of my just general editing, and it's where I spend most of my time. But Photoshop is where the magic is. Photoshop is where you do those things that Lightroom just can't do. So when I think of Lightroom, I'm thinking brighter, darker, change the white balance, right? Enhance the texture. Think of the things that we actually
Yeah,
do
and
in
it's like
Lightroom.
it's about 90%, but then there's
It's a
that
lot of it.
Then there's that 10% at the end
that
where it's
makes
like
the magic.
ooh.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the magical things that Photoshop does, and it is a sticky subject, and it is the truth about sky replacement. Yowzer. And sky replacement is basically where you have an image and it was just kind of a meh sky or no sky in this case, and you swap out in Photoshop a different image. And it's very, very easy to do. In fact, it's built in, and we'll talk about that in a second. In fact, I'll show you how to do it. But here's the thing. A lot of people will just immediately go, oh, nope, I'm not doing sky replacement. And you know what? I'm that guy too.
I used
I'm
to be
right
that
there
guy
with
too.
you. I'm
Yeah.
that guy. I wouldn't do it. Now, I will admit,
Yes.
there were 2 images that I had done over the years where I swapped out the sky. And every time I saw that image on screen or I shared that screen image, I always felt a little dirty. I always felt like, ooh, that's not the real sky. Here's when my mind completely changed. So I was sitting there talking to a buddy of mine who is a super, super famous landscape photographer, super famous, everybody would know his name. And we're talking one day, and we're just talking about different images and different experiences. And we get to this one image, and I'm like, dude, that's one of my all-time favorite images of yours. The sky you had that day was, and he interrupts me and he goes, well, that wasn't the sky that was there. I put that in Photoshop. I was on the floor in the fetal position, blacked out. I was so stunned that this icon would do this. And so when I got it back up on my bar stool, I'm like, did you just
You got
tell
the
me?
smelling salts out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we woke you up.
Yeah. So I'm like, did you just tell me you did a sky replacement? And he's like, oh, I do it all the time. We all do.
And you're going around and you're like, yeah, I do it.
Yeah.
I do it.
So yeah, I didn't realize that, right? So he said to me, he goes, so you don't do it? I go, no. I said, I'll do it. I've done it twice, but I'm not proud of it and I don't do it. And he said, so let me get this straight. You're going to go shoot a landscape. You fly out to the west or whatever. You're out there in Arizona, Utah, wherever. And you get up at dawn and everything's perfect and you've got all the right gear and you have all the right settings. You've done everything right. You've got it all.
You got the right composition even.
Composition's great.
Subject's great, yeah.
Got the right gear, time. You're at 4 in the morning. You're walking out there in the dark with a headlamp on, trying not to fall into a pit of snakes. You get all the way out there. You're all set up. And if no clouds show up, you never show that photograph. I'm like, that's exactly right. He says, you're an idiot. And I realized at that point,
Might be.
so I didn't want to take his word for it. So I started asking all these other well-known, famous, they're all like, well, of course we do. Oh, yes, absolutely. Now, this is before it was built in. They were doing it the hard way. But sky replacement has become so ubiquitous and so everywhere that is literally now a part of Photoshop. The feature is called, ready? Sky replacement. It literally does that. And I'm going to show you how easy it does, because what it does that's really great is it does the math. Like, it would look at this building and it would only put the clouds in the sky and not over the building, like you wouldn't see a cloud.
Well,
It
even
automatically
tone
does
the
all the
images.
masking.
It does the toning. It does the coloring. Like it does so much. Adds shadows.
It actually affects the foreground to make sure that the sky that you chose masks properly. Now, when you choose it, whatever sky you used last appears in your image, right? So let's jump over to Photoshop real quick, and I'll show you. Take a look here. You go into the edit menu, and it's just called simply, there it is, sky replacement. And you bring it up, and you just open it. It throws whatever last sky you used in there, and watch how it masks. Look at that.
Done. Yeah.
It's done. I mean, it masks the image for you, and you can choose other ones. It comes with a bunch of sample skies, right? And I mean, one click, and it's done. I mean, done. And you just have to find, ones that look appropriate or look good to you or whatever, all right? And you can adjust the edge, you can adjust the brightness, you can adjust the temperature, the size of the clouds, and I love this feature, flip. So if the light is coming from the opposite direction, you can flip the clouds, right? So it's the right way. That's it. It doesn't get any easier than that. So I think that's important for us to know that, okay, now I'm going to talk about the Lightroom part later, but I just wanted to kind of remind folks that's an important thing that people don't talk about. Yeah, Lightroom's our bread and butter. That's where we spend all of our time, or most of our time. But when we want to create magic, we want to do something neat, that's why we jump over to Photoshop, right? And we have literally hundreds of classes on Photoshop, and I have a whole class that I just did maybe a month ago. I did a class just on skies. Now I got to tell you this, got to give you that. I get it there. Woo, wow, that was quick. Okay, that's the one. But in this thing, I only do like 3 or 4 minutes on sky replacement. All the rest is on just skies.
Like how to make them.
Like how to make them amazing. So it's not. Don't think that it is a class on. That's me.
Look at that.
It's not a class on sky replacement. It is, though I do show it.
Scott talking about Scott.
I know, this is like The Matrix.
Yes.
No, not The Matrix. What's that movie?
Inception.
Thank you.
It's like we're in a dream.
It's like that movie right there. It's what he said. Okay, it's like we're in a dream. All right, so I just want to plant that in your head. How important post is. Spend 90% of your time on Lightroom. I'll teach you the other 10%. Don't worry, I got you covered. But I'm only going to teach you the stuff that you don't need to do in Lightroom. All right, we're going to move on to number 4.
All right.
So number 4 is the thing that has upset a lot of photographers, and this happens mostly in online forums. But I'll give you a typical example. Guy sends me an email, and he says, Scott, I'm very concerned. So I went on this forum, photography forum, and this guy's mentioning how when he does a shoot, he goes out and he'll shoot, 400 shots, and he gets like 125 keepers. Like he's got 125 decent shots. He goes, I'm not getting anywhere near that. Maybe I'm bad at this photography thing. Maybe I should give up. And he's like really like.
I don't want to see his keepers. He's getting that much. Like, wow.
Devastated. So the question really is how many keepers should you get? Because this guy is bragging he gets 125 out of 400 or something. That's really, really a lot. So the question is how many keepers should you get? Well, I don't think that there's an official number, so I went to a really good source. So how many keepers should you get? And this guy seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's pretty respectable.
Pretty respectable.
Yeah.
12 images in any 1 year. So if you get one really good image a month, you're right up there with what Ansel Adams thinks is a great thing, right? And I think the problem is this, and it's a unique thing, I think, a lot to social media. So where do we mostly share our images, right? Facebook, Instagram,
Facebook,
TikTok,
online.
Okay. Right, we share them online. But the problem is this, is that we see all of our bad shots. But when you look on Instagram, no one's saying, here's a shot I hate.
So true.
This one looks bad. What do you think?
You don't post the one that's like crappy, out of focus. Like,
no.
I mean, I've got like in a sequence 10 bad shots and then one good shot.
And one good shot. Yeah. I wish I had that ratio. I'll have 50 bad shots and maybe one good one.
Probably more like that, honestly.
So and I think that's the problem. We're looking through all these bad shots and we're only seeing everybody else's good shots. This is a very common problem with photographers. We compare ourselves, we're comparing all of our take against somebody else's very best shot. It's not fair. And many times we are comparing ourselves with people who have been pros for 40 years, for 50 years, who spend their lives flying around the world taking photos in amazing places. And we're like, you know, I'm in Orlando or I'm in Tampa. Like, what am I going to do, right? So I think it's very unfair. I'll give you a great story along the same line. So my wife had a similar thing happen to her. She is a pilot, and when she was training to be a pilot, training to get her pilot's license, she had a wonderful instructor, Fred, great guy, and they had a wonderful relationship. He was a terrific teacher. One of the things that my wife was particularly good at was landings. And I think if you're a pilot, that's the thing to be good at. Nobody wants to fly with a pilot that goes, I don't know, this landing, I hope it works.
Yeah.
But she was really like extra good at it. It was just like so natural to her, right? And so they were doing a series of touch and goes. Now, she was learning out of an international airport. So there's commercial jets, there's UPS, there's big airlines, there's little airlines, there's the US Coast Guard, there's Army helicopters, all flying out of this one big airport. So she has to land, fly, go around, it's called a touch and go, wait in line again, land, and she does this all day. They do touchdown after touchdown. So they land one day and they're taxiing back to the hangar, and her teacher Fred says, you did a fantastic job. Oh my gosh, like landings are your thing. You're just, man, they're like butter. And she's like, are you kidding me? This is the photographer and her coming out. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She goes, the fifth landing, I had that little hop when we landed. And then there was this other one where, you know, I didn't hit the numbers I wanted to and all. And he's like, are you kidding me? And he said something that was so pertinent to photography that I wrote it down. I wrote it as she told me what he said. I went, wait, I grabbed a pencil and I wrote it down. I'm going to share this quote with you because as a photographer, you're going to relate to it because this is what we do as photographers. Here's the quote right here. This is what we do. We judge ourselves against everybody's best shot. We judge ourselves, we don't see anybody else's bad shot. We judge ourselves against the best people in the industry and their best shot. They don't show you their bad shots. You're only seeing, so take someone who's already Delta pilot quality photographer and then only see their best shots and it's just like, holy cow, right? So I started thinking about this question that the guy asked me. And I said, well, now I'm starting to wonder, how many do I get? Like, how many keepers do I get? So I went and looked at the last shoot I had done at that time, and it was a portrait shoot with 3 different looks, right? So I had 3 different looks, and it's a 428 shots. So I went into Lightroom, and I went to my organization, because I could see exactly how many keepers I had. So how many images did I wind up from this shoot? I know exactly. It was 3, right? So then I thought, well, that's not really fair. I also do sports photography. I used to shoot NFL. I shot everything. I shot NFL, I shot NASCAR, I shot Indy, I shot NBA, I shot Major League Baseball. I shot it for a sports wire service for like 6 years. Yeah. So I shot for everybody. And so I went and I grabbed one of my shoots. Now I was told by my editors constantly that I undershoot a game. So that's very, very a low number. But at 1,800 shots, I would have about 30 keepers. So my keeper rate was around 1.7%. How upset did this make me? It did not. Why not? Because at the end of the day, I just want to find one good one. If I do a shoot of any kind and I have one significant shot, if I get that one shot of the month like Ansel was talking about, that's it. And guess what? When I find that one, I'm posting that one. I'm not going to show you all the ones I missed. I'm not going to show you the ones where I was at a bad angle.
Or the marginal ones.
Or the ones that are a little soft. No, none of the
2 stars. It's a 2-star.
So all you're going to see is that one shot, as if I walked up and went, click, whoop, I can go to the bar now
And
if you
that's
don't have a drink.
what Keith's saying here. He's saying when I took sports photography, I would get like one shot out of every 300-400. And that,
Yeah.
I mean, that is typical.
That's reasonable. No, that's
typical.
good. I think he's doing good.
Yeah.
I think if you get one good shot out of 300
Yeah.
or 400,
And I think that's one of those
it's
myths
taken
or
me
these secrets. Like
1,800 to get 1.7.
that's how it is. Like I go shoot an air show, shoot 4,000 shots, and maybe have like 8.
Yeah, right.
It's like that's good.
That's good. You're
Yeah.
doing good, right? 8 that have everything come together, and you think like, wow, this is a really good shot. All right. So that is number 4. Is we have to kind of get to a point where we start to realize what social media shows us, what would we show on social media, and that we're seeing all our bad shots, but we're only seeing everybody else's good shots. And that has an effect on your confidence.
Yeah.
It has you just got to realize when you're looking at social media, what are you seeing from somebody else?
Their best shots.
Their best shots. All right. Number 5 of these 5 things, and then we're going to talk about this thing we just launched last Friday, and I got to tell you about it because it is already making a difference in photographers' lives. So just hang on for a second for that. This was an interesting one. Are you really practicing your photography? When we talk about getting better, right? Are you practicing? And I'm going to use a golf analogy because you'll totally get it. All right. So for example, let's take a look at these folks. They're out there playing golf. They're high-fiving. They're having fun. It's a beautiful day. Let me ask you the question. Let's be honest. Let's say this is the 18th hole. Did they get any better at golf that day? Did they improve their golf skills? No.
They're just playing.
They're just playing. They're playing golf. They're having a good time. Now,
Yeah, the beer cart's coming.
do you want to? That's not practice. That's play. That's okay.
It's okay.
The beer
It's
cart's
cool.
coming. The beer cart has probably already come at that point. Now, here's a golf shot. This guy's actually getting better. This is what practice looks like. He's not high-fiving. He's not by himself. It's not a gorgeous day. Sun's not low in the sky. He's out there hitting the same shot again and again and again and again, probably practicing his irons and just working on one particular thing over and over and over again, trying to perfect it. So that when he does go out to play, he gets better results. He has more fun. I'm shooting great. My shots look beautiful. I'm getting compliments from everybody. Photography is the same way. Are you really practicing? Now, if you're doing, and this is very popular for people to do things like practice the high-speed water drop or the Brillo pad, the steel wool.
Yeah, it's always good to practice that stuff.
And the water drops on the window. You know what that is? Those are fun. They're interesting to do, but the phone's never going to ring and say, hey, I need to get a shot of the water drops on the window. Can I hire you to shoot that? Because anybody can shoot these. These are fun little experiments, but it's not practice. This is what practice looks like. You getting up in the morning and driving out to a location and deciding to shoot the same stupid thing again and again. Let's say that you decided, I want to get really, really, really good at a particular point. I want to get good at panos. I want to be the pano queen of my state. I just want to get good at it. So every morning on the weekends, you get up and you drive out there and you put your coat on and you get the shot. And it's not fun and there's nobody to high five. But when you go out to have fun and you're with your friends, you're going to come back with shots that make their jaws drop, that make them jealous and all that stuff. You're going to have, you actually practiced. And I realized that I was guilty of this myself. So if you go to look at my Twitter bio, right, top of Twitter, or X, whatever they call it today, whatever the kids are calling it, you go to my Twitter bio.
Your bio, yeah.
The last line says, I'm this, I'm that, I write books, whatever, and struggling guitarist. And so I wanted to face the struggling part one day. So I went to my wife one day and I said, honey, I play my guitar a lot, and I play in a band and all this stuff. I don't feel like I'm getting any better at photography, right? Does this sound like you as a photographer? I don't feel like I'm getting any better at guitar. And she says, okay. Now my wife is a musician. She and I actually met in a band 35 years ago. So she goes, okay, all right, so talk to me about your practice routine. What do you do when you go in and you practice? I said, okay. I go in and pick up my guitar, And she says, okay, then what? I said, and then I play, my favorite songs. Like, I play my classic rock songs. And the kid goes, okay, and do you do scales? No. Do you do speed like practice? Do you practice on like getting faster and all? No. Doing modes or anything? No. So she goes, so you're not practicing? And that's when it hit me. I'm just playing. I'm just playing golf. And I'm doing the same thing with my photography. If you don't set out to do something and say, today I'm just going to shoot shadows. I really like shadows. I walk through the city and I don't know what to shoot. What if I made really, really interesting shots of shadows? And I've seen people do it and it's fantastic, right? I'm going to do street photography. I'm only going to shoot people. And I'm going to get really, really good at being really quick, at being able to take a quick shot of somebody. There's so many things that you could do to practice where you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Because then when you go to play, you want to have fun, your results are going to be so much better.
And I will say this is a big thing in my photography has been, and that's what I love about KelbyOne is that we have so many different genres, and I'll go learn something new that and ends up applies to what I do.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. And I just saw a great comment from Gina here.
Yeah.
Gina says, thank you for making me feel so much better. As the county fair photographer, trying to get a hog to stop in front of you, in front of the board for a photo, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But remember, Gina, you can take as many shots as you need to because you're only going to show that one. You're going to find the perfect shot and they're going to go, I don't know how Gina does it. She always gets that shot. And it will appear to everyone that you walked up to the hog, took the shot, and said, time for a corn dog.
Yeah.
And they won't know that you took
300
other
shot.
blurry shots and the hog's off, not on the board and all that kind of stuff. I totally get it.
Totally.
And Studio Laurent, this is funny, he says, and yes, the French hate everything. I'm French, so I know. LOL. All right,
But
great.
she says, but I do love KelbyOne. It's a must for anyone who's wanting to learn and get better at everything photography and post-processing.
Thank you,
So
Studio
thanks.
Laurent. Thank you very much. All right, and we got people from all over saying hi today.
Yeah, from let's see, I got Trisha saying hi from California. Chris saying hi to everybody from Switzerland. Samson saying hi from Denmark. We've got Leah from all the way from Portland, Maine. Phil from Delray Beach. Keith from Jacksonville. We even got somebody in there from Croatia.
Bojana?
So, yeah. So all the way in Croatia. So all over the world joining us. We're so excited you're here.
Hey, somebody else had a comment. Margaret
Yep.
down here had a comment, and Margaret asks, what do you do when a client insists on seeing that particular shot that is bad? So Margaret, I've had this happen. I've had this, it's terrible. So here's what I do. When I'm shooting, let's say that I'm on location or in my studio, I don't let the client sit there and look at all of my photos, right? I don't let them see all my bad shots. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
The flash isn't going to fire. I fire at the wrong
Only
time.
see the pics.
But I got a
pics.
thing for you though. I'm telling you that you're going to love this. Now, if they want to see the bad photo, you can't say no.
Yeah.
Right there, the client, they're paying you. They're paying you to take that photo, and you could just show them and say, obviously this isn't the one we're going to use, but if you want to see it, sure, take a look, whatever. But I got a great thing for you. In fact, I have a class on it. No, listen, you set me up. It's a class on client proofing, and here's what I do. I shoot tethered into Lightroom. So basically, I'm going from my camera with the cable straight into Lightroom so I can see the pictures big, right? And I do this on location or in the studio. If I can possibly do it on location, I set up a tripod. I have a little table that screws on my tripod. On my tripod.
We got it.
You know what it meant.
We got it.
Put it on top, right? And then what I do is this. I set up a whole thing to where you're gonna give your iPad to your client. You're gonna give them the.
That's Terry's class.
Yeah, that's Terry's class. That's a good class.
But that's
too.
a great class too.
All right, you're gonna give them your iPad, and here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna hit a button on your computer, and it only sends your good shots to the iPad. So they don't see the ones you missed. They don't see the blurry ones. You're going to press, it's going to be the letter B. And every time you hit it, boom, it sends it over to the client. So they look, and let's say you take 5 shots, click, 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 and there's one good one. I hit B, and they only see the good stuff. So I do a whole thing on tethering and on using your iPad and all this kind of stuff for client proofing.
Yeah.
Once you do it once, number one, your clients love it.
Yep.
And here's what's cool. Ready for this? They can comment. it's going to blow your mind. They can comment on the iPad. They can write, I like this one. And that comment actually appears inside of your Lightroom. Nobody knows this, but in the library module, the very last panel is called comments. Like, go look, I'm not making this up. Go look in yours. It says comments. And when they comment in your iPad, it lands there. Oh, but there's more. There's one last piece of this puzzle. It's all in my class. You can actually share a web link to anyone. So let's say that you're in Tampa, like we are, and let's say that they have another coworker or their home office is in Cincinnati. You can send a link to that person in Cincinnati. They can watch the shoot live. They will only see the shots that you like, and they can comment them in Cincinnati, and you'll see their name and their comment. I kid you,
Well, but Scott, you're talking about all these classes and all this stuff. Like, maybe you could elaborate on what those classes are like.
Thank you. We have many classes. So we mentioned this KelbyOne earlier, right? And I've got a couple of quotes from people who are really, really respected in the industry, like Steve Brazill, who runs the very, very popular Behind the Shot podcast, which is one of the best photography podcasts out there. And Steve is amazing.
Yeah, and he's saying that basically it's the gold standard, right?
Richard Burnaby, one of the best landscape photographers. By the way, it was not Richard I was talking about earlier that did the sky replacements. But can we see his quote again?
Wildlife, nature, landscape.
Right.
I mean, he's just great.
Right. But I want you to I want to
and
just,
the KelbyOne instructor.
Yeah, but we launched this thing last week. I want to tell you about it in a minute. But before we get there, I want you to hear it from some people that actually they kind of started as KelbyOne students, like they were just like you. They started them, and they wound up having entire careers that come out of it. So
yeah, because that's one of the things when we're talking about this stuff is a lot of times you're looking at it and you're going, well, I could never get to that point. We have people that have gone from being a student to now they are world-renowned, top of the line,
and our
leading
instructors,
their class,
and they're teaching for us.
Like, for example, food photography.
Oh yeah,
we have Steve Hansen. He basically went from starting out learning to then becoming
a chef.
Yeah, full time.
He was a chef, was not a photographer. Take a look.
So check this out.
Hi, I'm Steve Hansen, photographer and director. My transition from chef to photographer started when I was a private chef, and my goal was to create my own cookbook, write it, and photograph it. I Googled photography training, and up came KelbyOne. And from that moment, I was hooked. I learned about post-production. I learned about how to use a strobe, how to run your business. All these things can be found in this one realm. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and that first step for me was KelbyOne.
So isn't that great? I mean, gone from just a chef to then a full-time food photographer. But
yeah,
it doesn't just stop there,
one.
Right? We have other people in our memberships. Like you wouldn't think that, somebody could make a full-time living being a professional high-end dog photographer.
Oh,
but
yeah.
one of our members is. And check this one out.
My name is Kaylee Greer, and I'm a professional dog photographer. KelbyOne has been just monumental in this journey of mine. I have the opportunity to pull from years and years of combined professional experience, and I can take the things that I learn from them and I can apply it to, my own unique niche and my own unique situation with dogs. It's like the support system is always there at the touch of a button with KelbyOne.com.
Well, there's just a couple, wanted to show you those. But last Friday I mentioned we launched this brand new thing, and it's called the Photographer's FastTrack. And we launched it on Friday, and it's already having a tremendous impact. We're already hearing from people. And what it is, it's something we've never done before. But I talk to these photographers that are so frustrated, and here's what their frustration is. They want to get a lot better at photography. Like they kind of feel stuck. Yeah. And when I talk to them about how they're learning, here's what they tell me. They watch a video here. They'll watch they'll read an article. They'll read a blog post. Somebody said this in a forum. They'll watch a YouTube video. They're just kind of all over the place. They don't have a plan. They don't have a goal, and they're not getting anywhere. They're just kind of stuck. So for the first time ever, we put this thing together called the Photographer's FastTrack, and it is designed to not move you up to the next level, right? I think most photography training could do that. This is to move you years ahead. This is, if you're a level 2, we're going to move you to a level 4 or a level 5, and we're going to do it in a remarkably short time. Now, you know that we have 1,000 courses. What if we could just cherry pick the very best ones, update them all so they're very fresh and new, and present them in a way and lead you through this, right? So I'm going to lead you through this fast track. So it's you and me together, and you're going to learn all these things. And how hard is this going to be? It's going to be very easy. You're going to dedicate 1 hour a day, just 1 hour a day for 5 days. Now, it would be really nice if you could do the 5 days contiguously. If you miss a day or something, it's not going to mess you up or anything. But here's what I would say. It's 1 hour for 5 days. You're going to watch 5 classes that are approximately an hour apiece. I would say do not jump ahead. Watch Monday's class or whenever, let's say you start on a Wednesday, watch Wednesday's class and don't watch Thursday's. Wait. These 5 days are hard. It's going to be a photography boot camp. You are going to learn so much in these 5 days. It's going to be a lot of information to take in. That's why I only want you to watch the one class for 5 days, just one, that's it. Once you're done with the 5 classes, then we're going to move to 1 hour a week, and that makes it really, really easy for you. Now, we just put this up, this just went up last week, and we're already getting such great comments. Now, I will tell you this, the first class that I did, ready, after all the thing I said about gear, is about gear and settings. Why? Why did I do that first? Because
we have to know some stuff, right?
But I just wanted to show you the actual things you really need to know. Just those simple things. So I really spent some time on just like, here are the things you need to know. You can forget all this other stuff. Just learn these things. If we get those out of the way, you know what we'd have to do for the rest of the fast track? We don't have to talk about it. Right?
Yeah,
so that's
awesome.
it. Take a look at this quote. This is someone that actually just watched just the first class.
Yeah, just the
they
gear
just
class.
watched the very first gear class.
Yeah, and I think there's a line in there, right?
There's a line in there I particularly love. This one right here. The amount of things blew him away was priceless. Now, this is someone that's a pro.
A pro watching it.
And so there is something in there for everyone. But I'm talking to you in these classes, and it's actually Larry Becker and I lead you through this progression, but I'm teaching the classes. And so I teach you these classes just like it's you and me out on a shoot. I'm talking to you just like I'm talking to you here. I'm not using jargon. I'm not doing all that stupid stuff. I'm just getting you, I got to get you to where you're taking pictures that make, and you can see the difference in your work. I don't mean a 5% difference. I need you after 5 days to go, I am on a different level. Like you're going to be showing people pictures that you took, family members, friends, colleagues, you're posting it, and you're going to get an entirely different response from them.
Yeah, and this is verifiable results. These are things that have been, they're proven things that even like, we got a comment here saying, thanks for the great reminder, Scott, about practice. I still would be running away from Photoshop if it wasn't for your Photoshop or Lightroom Users Book. So that's the whole thing, is like, that's been our whole thing, is to put information in front of you that is the truth, the verifiable, like you can trust it to go, I am learning the right thing, not I'm picking all over the place and maybe having stuff conflict. It's always going to be the right thing.
I'm going to lead you. You're with me. We're doing this together. Now, so once you're done with your 5 days, then what? Right? So you've done 5 days. So you have 3 options that you can do. Option number 1 is you can start a topic-based learning track. So we put together these tracks in order that track your progress, so you can say, look, I want to learn this particular thing. I've done my 5 days and I've got that underway, and I'm going to spend 1 hour a week now on a learning track. And our classes, we have 1,000 of them, right? But it's not 1,000 lessons. It's 1,000 full courses with tens of thousands of lessons, right? There's just so many. But you're going to go on a learning track, and you're going to choose one like landscape or travel or flash and strobe or whatever, and you're going to watch the courses in order because we put them in a very special order. So this is curated learning. It's not just grabbing something here and there, like Eric was saying, right? You're on
and
a track.
you'll take them through the fast track in just a second here.
I will.
Yeah.
All right, and then option 2 is you can watch this week's class. We release a brand new course every single week. Every Thursday, a brand new course comes out. Now, you might want to watch that brand new course. Or you might want to go to option 3. Just hit the search and go find any course that interests you, because we've got like a 1,000.
Like I said, I've done that a lot to find parallel courses to what I'm interested in, and it blows my mind when I'm able to figure out from watching a bird photography course applying to aviation.
Yep. So let's talk about what's in the Fast Track. The very first class is the top 7 things every photographer needs to know on their camera. I whittled it down just to the really, really, really important stuff. The second class is called Crush the Composition. Now, Crush the Composition is, I did a talk on this 11 years ago at a Google conference out in San Francisco, and it got 250,000 views just on that. Back
Really
when videos didn't get 250,000 views.
Yeah.
It blew up. But it is one of those classes that is great to have a live audience for. It really works with a live audience. So we got a theater, we invited a live audience, and I'm going to teach you, here's what it is. Yes, there's the rules of composition. You know about that. And I'm going to spend, I think I spend 4 or 5 minutes on the rules of composition. The other entire hour is the stuff they don't tell you. There is something that no one talks about that is really the key to composition. Because if it was just the rules, every book on composition has the rules. You cannot buy a book. You could go back to the first time in print they used the word like rule of thirds. 1887. These rules have been around forever and people are still struggling for it. You know why? Because there's a thing beyond the rules, and it's the secret to it all. And I spend the rest of the time in that class teaching you the secret. I'm going to show you exactly how the exact process the pros use. And nobody talks about it. I can't believe they don't. I'm going to tell you the whole thing. You're going to see every bit of it.
Sometimes a reason they don't, but in this class you're going to find out all those secrets. So you're equipped with the same thing that the pros are equipped with.
And here's the bad thing, it's easy. When you hear it and realize it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you know. Okay, Next, you gotta learn the Lightroom stuff. You just got to, it's the key. So I'm gonna teach you my 7-point system for Lightroom. This is the same system that is taught in universities and colleges all around the world, where they use my book, my 7-point system book, as the course curriculum. So I'm going to take you through all these, the 7 steps that you need to know. And luckily, you know, Lightroom isn't like Photoshop. Photoshop is unlimited depth. Lightroom, you learn these 7 steps, you've got it, right? So we're going to go through all of these things. I'm going to teach it like I do a friend, and you're going to be able to, you'll know what to apply, when to apply it, how to do it. You're going to know all of this, and it's honestly very easy. And I'm going to make it easy for you, but it's going to change the way you edit your images. That's why it's used in colleges and universities as the textbook, because it works, and you're going to love it. So that's number 3.
And when you have that system, right, and you have a system that you can rely on, that's when post-processing becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, right? You're not guessing, because you'll know what to do. Okay, here's an image. I know where to start. So I know what to do next.
If that's something you're struggling
next.
Yeah, if it's something you're struggling with, this is going to be that course for you.
Number 4 is we're going to look at how to critique your own photos. This is a skill that you have to develop, where you're looking at the photos and you're like, well, is this the good one? Is this the bad one? And I'm going to give you downloadable PDF checklists. I'm going to give you checklists that you can put right on your phone to make sure that the technical stuff doesn't ruin a great photo. Because you can have a great photo and you make technical mistakes that ruin the photo. But if you don't know what the technical mistakes are, you'll continue to make them. So I give you these, I take you through it, and I show you how to look at your own work, and at least you can avoid the stuff that would be gotchas, right? And it's an important thing to learn. Yep. You'll learn a bunch, and you'll have downloadable PDFs.
It's great. Right on that course page, you have those downloadable PDFs right below the video. The other thing that's great on that video, in any video, is right next to that button, there's a little Discuss This Course button, and that's where you can get in and you can talk with our whole community about the course, and you as the instructor about the course.
If you go to any of our players and go to watch a course, you'll see a little button called Discuss This Course. When you click on that, it takes you into a forum of people that have watched that class and the instructor, right? So if you go look on click on that's fine. It's right over there.
Discuss this course.
When you click on it, it takes you over to a page with those. There it is.
Yep,
right?
and you're talking
you
just
can
about
go to-
that course.
You can go to all the other topics and stuff, but right now, when you click that discuss this course, we're only talking about that course. And you'll see people talking about the course in there.
Yep.
And these people
Asking questions,
asking
getting
questions,
answers.
and these people are just being very nice, but
Yeah.
but they do ask questions.
Yep. Well, and then there's you answering somebody's question that they had. Yep.
Yep. So anyway, it is a great community. We also have moderators that help. If you need help on anything, you post a question in there, and boom, it is awesome.
So that's
All right.
that's the third course, and now the
That's
fourth course.
That actually is the fourth course.
So the fourth course.
Now we have the fifth course.
Fifth course.
So
yes.
the fifth course of the Fast Track is called 10 Things I Wished I Knew Earlier. And this is going to probably, of all of them, have the biggest impact. Again, in front of a live audience, but there are things that we need to know, that you need to know, that are things that need to be revealed. And I wish somebody just sat down to me and told me earlier, I wish someone just said, Scott, stop doing this, start doing this. Don't fall for this, do this thing. You got to learn this, you got to learn that. I could have cut years off my learning curve. These are things that in many cases I had to learn the hard way, but I'll just tell you as a friend, and on this one course alone can move you up literally years. Now, so how do you get this Fast Track? I just saw someone asking, how much are courses? Generally, our courses are $30 a piece, but I couldn't tell you with a straight face you should go buy these courses at $30 a piece, because we've got a much better deal, especially because we're coming up on Cyber Weekend and all that stuff. We've put together the biggest bundle of value you have ever seen, we've ever done in the history of our company for this Cyber Weekend. We really want you to become a part of this. And what I really want you to do, I want to get you in that Fast Track. Why? Because you're going to get results, right? You're going to get results, and it's going to make a huge difference. Now, did you want to say something? I heard you take a breath.
No.
Okay.
I got a bunch of comments, but we'll talk about KelbyOne. But everybody wants to know the prices and stuff. So what is included in this cyber bundle, right? So the first thing is this Fast Track.
The first thing is, of course, you get the Fast Track. And that's what I would convince you to do first, right? If you join KelbyOne, the Fast Track is included. We just released it last Friday, and we're already getting rave reviews on this stuff. But you do what I told you, do the 1 hour a day.
And the key with this Fast Track, right? This isn't just you're getting those Fast Tracks, because it's one thing is this is all going to be part of a KelbyOne membership, right?
Right. You're going to be joining the KelbyOne
What's
community.
interesting about these bundles is you are getting access to these bundles for your lifetime, right? So
Yeah, the
when you
bundles are
buy
yours
this,
to keep.
this is yours to keep. So with this deal, you're not just getting where you're gonna have access to these courses forever. So,
All right.
So we've got the Fast Track.
You're also getting these landscape presets from one of our instructors who is a brilliant genius in landscape post-processing.
Yes.
Rampton Kazami.
We've both been to his workshops
We've
years
both
ago.
been to his workshop.
Yeah.
He's so good.
good.
He is so good. We met him because he won an art competition that we put on.
Yeah.
And we met him, and this guy's he's on a whole nother level. And now he's a KelbyOne instructor, and you're going to get his presets.
So he's made presets for you that'll go right side in there. They're actually adaptive presets too, using the new filters. So
yeah, using
awesome
all the
if you're a
latest
landscape
masking stuff.
photographer.
Oh yeah,
if you're a landscape photographer.
Also,
yeah.
you're going to get a cyber bundle of these 3 books. So these are my travel photography recipes, my landscape recipes, and a whole thing on retouching portraits in
So
Lightroom.
you're getting all 3 of those
Classic.
ebooks,
You're getting all
in
those.
the bundle, and you're getting
And-
those forever.
And you're going to get the Photography Essentials book from Serge Ramali.
Yes.
So Serge is not only a very, very famous instructor, wonderful photographer, KelbyOne instructor, also teaches for us. But you probably already know who Serge is. Serge was kind enough he wants you to get into this program too, and he's making this available to you
Yeah, so
as
it's
well.
great. You're getting his Photography Essentials ebook.
How about Tracy Sweeney is giving you her Sky Pack? So Tracy is one of our instructors. Her specialty is children and family photography. We have a bunch of
tons of
classes with
courses.
Tracy. She's so good. She's such an engaging person, but she's so good. And the stuff that she teaches is absolute
And
gold.
funny story is she actually had a Sky Pack. This is the Sky Pack 2, because years ago she did Sky Pack 1.
Now it's Sky
I've
Pack
actually
2.
used her Sky Pack and rocket photography photos. So there you go. It doesn't always
you
have
go.
to be like 4 landscape or 4 portraits.
All right, so when you join KelbyOne, of course, you get that.
You're getting the
You're
cyber
getting
bundle.
all of that is in the cyber bundle. But we also have a whole thing to teach you Photoshop. It is a Photoshop bundle. You get to keep all of this. And I'm not teaching all of these classes. I think I'm teaching
You teach
all
most
of them
but one.
But one. There's
And
one class taught by
Terry,
Terry
which-
White, who is an Adobe
Amazing,
genius and has worked for
amazing
Adobe
instructor.
for 25 years. He's
Yep.
oh, you'll love
Yeah,
Terry.
but what's interesting about that bundle, going back to it, like you're not only getting those things, but you're getting like the new AI powered stuff. So just focusing on that.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing is focusing on just Photoshop for beginners if you're needing to start out. So you're getting it's basically the gamut of what you're going to need to master Photoshop.
You're also going to get this. You're going to get a sky replacement pack, the texture pack, and how to get started with Photoshop's generative fill. So all of that.
I think we're crazy.
I know
We're
this
crazy.
this is the biggest thing we've never given away this, and the KelbyOne Pro membership. So you're going to have access to all 1,000 classes and the FastTrack.
All the tracks that we have, and that community, which I saw a comment over here, which we'll read in a second about the community. The toolkit, which we haven't even gone over the toolkit, which we have a creative toolkit, which is full of presets, downloads for I think there's 40 of them, different things that instructors have offered. There's there's the webinars that we do. There's all this stuff you're getting included. It's a lot.
It is a ridiculous amount of stuff. If you wanted to go buy it, don't spend $911. That's what it would cost, but don't do that.
And you're also getting with that annual pro membership. That's where we could put a number on it that's actually ridiculous because again, every course is $30
a class.
a course.
We've got 1,000 courses. You
And
could
then
call it $30,000, but that's ridiculous.
Every year, this is the other thing. When you become an annual pro member here, you're getting 52 more classes in this next year because every week we come out with a full-length class.
And they're good
So you're getting
stuff.
all those classes too. So think about 52 classes, plus you're getting the archive classes, plus you're getting all this. So the value is huge.
It is
but again,
crazy.
We want to help people. We invested in this program, this platform, millions of dollars because we've wanted to help photographers make better images.
And we've trained
That's what
hundreds
it
of
is.
thousands of students all over the world that have looked to us over the years to be their resource. And I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference. And this Cyber Weekend, you can get every bit of it, all of the bundle, all of the stuff, all of the downloadable stuff, all of the texture packs, and everything for $199. That's for an entire year. Plus, you get to keep all of those. All of those.
Yeah, so you're getting the
those are
FastTrack
unlimited.
bundle, you're getting the Photoshop bundle, you're getting that Cyber bundle, you're getting a pro membership, you're getting all that. And just looking over here, I mean, there's tons of comments from people that are talking about how, like Terry Smith is saying, the Discuss course and just being able to ask questions in the community has been priceless.
Yep.
So we can put a priceless number on that because I have heard that from a lot of people.
Yep.
I've got so much help from instructors and all the awesome people who jump in to help. And that really is something about the community that is amazing. And then just more comments here. Dina saying, listen to Scott. I started with KelbyOne, with the KelbyOne subscription when I was starting my professional career 6 years ago. He knows everything you need. Trust the process. I now have more work than I can accept.
Wow, well,
so
that's
there
great
you go.
news. Thank you.
And thanks
Thank you.
for leaving that comment because that's why we do this.
And
we
you're
do
sounding
this
like
for that.
Coach Saban with trust the process.
Trust the process.
I like
That's
that.
what
I like
and then
that.
Stuart's saying, you don't even need to be looking for a career. He's like, I've learned so much at KelbyOne over the years that my hobby is now rewarding me with contest wins.
Yeah.
So, it's
now,
not always
I will
about
say
just
this.
the-
I know who Stuart
Yeah,
is.
we know
We know
Stu.
Stuart. That guy is good. He is
Yes.
good. He's
But I mean,
good.
and the thing is, he trusted the process. He went through it, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
now he's getting to that level, and that's what he's saying in that comment.
All
I
right,
love that.
Someone says the coolest part is that you don't have to watch the classes on a computer or a small iPad screen. You can watch your lessons on TV. Because you can watch it on an Amazon Fire Stick. We have an
Or
Apple
Apple
TV
TV.
app. So
We have a phone app.
And
all
guys,
that good stuff.
this comes out to 54 cents a day. 54 cents a day, and you get the FastTrack. Like you get You get all of those things. It is the biggest value that we've ever done, and it's 54 cents a day, and you're going to get results. Look, I don't want to talk you into something that you don't get results in. If you didn't get results, you know what'll happen? You'll quit, you'll leave, you'll go away. Yeah. I've got to get you results. I've got to get you getting better pictures. Here's what I want, and this is what my goal is, and I've set you up for success. I want you to be able to show pictures to your friends that you took, and they're going to look at you. They're going to look at that picture and they're going to go, wait a minute. I know you.
You didn't take
There's
that.
no way you took that
That's
picture.
it. You always want that. You didn't take that.
I want
no
your
way.
friends to be jealous. I want your family to be in awe. I want your colleagues to be. I want you to become the go-to person for photography. Like they need a good picture, they're going to go, oh, you got to call Cindy.
Yep.
She's the best. Oh, Cindy's amazing. She's like, that's where and I know I can get you there. We've got the courses. We've got the goods. You just got to jump on board. You just got to do it. And it's 54 cents a day. Come on. Like, you know how they say, oh, just give up one coffee, It's not one coffee. 54 cents, they won't even buy you an empty cup. You can't even get an empty cup for 50. They won't hand you an empty cup for 54 cents anymore. They used to. They used to give you a cup for 50 cents. Now they're like, oh, we need $1. This is less than an empty cup.
Yep.
That's really cheap. All right, where do they go? You can join right on this page.
Yeah, so we have a link, right? We have a link for this. And then the other thing is, Sharon B is asking, is this all available for, or is this available for if you're already a member? Absolutely. We always let our members take advantage of this. If you want to take advantage of it, you totally can.
Absolutely.
And it is KelbyOne.com, and we'll put this in the chat. But there's the website. We also have a bit.ly link as well. But it's KelbyOne.com/webinar-offer. So we'll put that in the chat so you can go click on it. And then we also have a bit.ly link. But before that, we were going to bring up some testimonials as well from other KelbyOne members. But before that, we did want to show, I did remember one of the things that we didn't show earlier. And that was, we talked about our classes, but there was one class that we had highlighted from one of our instructors. It was Peter Hurley.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It was Peter Hurley. So this is the kind of stuff that we're producing to kind of see, like, this is going out in New York City, being with a studio photographer in New York City, learning that process.
Yeah,
so
and Peter Hurley is the master of the headshot. He wrote the book, Mastering the Headshot. Check out this trailer. We do a trailer for every course so you know what the course is going to be about. Check out this one from Peter.
The key to the headshot and capturing a great headshot or portrait for that matter is expression. You can have great lighting, you can have a great subject, you can have a killer background, but if you don't have expression, in my opinion, you got nothing. Hey, my name's Peter Hurley. I'm a portrait photographer in New York, and here I am in my city. I knew I was a portrait photographer because that's what I do. I just am intrigued by the fact that we all look so different. We have so many different expressions we can make. Why not go for them? Maniacal. The art of capturing expression is simply working with your subject to get organic and spontaneous life out of them, human stuff. Now, forehead like a chicken. Hold that, I like that, good. When you have a person, technical is out the window. I'm 90% therapist, 10% photographer. The technical's done. Shebang, shebang, shebang! Number one catchphrase.
Yep. You said that. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so that's it.
So where do you go? Go to KelbyOne.com.
Just go there.
Go right there, right now. And don't wait, do it now. Now, you can also get this as a gift for somebody. If you want to get this to somebody as a gift, this is the best deal. You're going to give them so much, their mind will be blown. So we would love to have you join. I know you're going to have a great experience. And when you do the Fast Track with me and with Larry Becker, Larry and I kind of lead you through each one of these. We explain what you're going to do, and we get you through the whole course and all. So we're doing it together. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot. In 5 days, your head is going to explode. You're going to be like, you're not going to believe all the things that you learn in such a short time, and it's going to make a real impact. At the end of the day, it's got to get results, and I wouldn't talk you into this if I didn't know that it was going to get results. So go to KelbyOne.com, sign up, start learning today. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No,
to
I mean,
this?
that's just what you're hearing from people is that same thing that you're saying is that KelbyOne, usually that's what we hear from people, is what you said. And that's what we've always been passionate about is we don't want to just provide you with fluff or also that whole thing of like we talked about propping up numbers of stuff you would never use. This is practical stuff that you can apply that people are, like you can see in the comments.
Great comment from Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon saying, I've gotten much more confidence to do photo shoots when folks ask me to photograph something for them than I would if I had not for KelbyOne classes.
Yeah, and we've got some testimonials. These are unsolicited, just like the guys are here in the comments. And thank you for everyone for saying the nice things that you are. But these are some comments that we
over the years,
saw.
I mean, there's tons of stuff that we see all the time, 5-star reviews, different comments from people that just all over the internet. We always appreciate that feedback. Like one of the comments here in the chat from Gary was, "You're the best instructor in Lightroom and Photoshop, period, Scott."
Oh, thank you,
There
Gary.
go.
You're very kind.
Yep. So you can see how just over the years, like just people all over the place, this is something that they've trusted and they know that this gives them the results. So we've got Ron saying, "I've studied music in college. I've learned that I only need to really practice the parts I couldn't play. I didn't need to practice the parts I could already play."
That's a great point.
And that's the great point, right? I mean, that's where I think sometimes we get into that trap as photographers, where we get good at something and then we just stick to that, but then we're just good at that, and then we never can branch out beyond that. And that's when maybe go experiment with something else. And that's a great thing that KelbyOne gives you, is those ways of kind of experimenting with something else.
All right. Go join right now. Come and join us on this journey. Go to KelbyOne.com. Join us. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to laugh a lot. And you're going to get to hang out with us. So thanks very much. Thank you all for taking the time. And thanks to our crew here for putting everything together so we can share this with you. And we hope you guys have a wonderful week. I know a lot of you will be taking off next week. Like me? What? But hope you have a very, very happy holiday. And for those of you who are joining today, because I know a lot of you are going to, welcome to KelbyOne. We're glad to have you here.
We can't wait to see you in the community, too.
Can't wait to see you in the community. And thanks for coming along with us on this photographic journey. Take care, everybody.